Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. It's that time of the week once again with the weekly challenges going ahead and refreshing. This time around we've gone from, once again in typical fashion, a very poor week overall to a rather decent week. Of course, the best rewards on offer this week. As you can see, for completing one event we're going to get a 6-star roulette ticket parts ticket. Completing 3 is going to be 150,000 credits, and completing all 5 is going to be a 6-star roulette ticket car reward ticket. Probably the best ticket that we can possibly get. Now, in terms of completion time this week, it really isn't going to take you too long, so you can bag yourself that free car in around about 40 to 45 minutes. So in terms of all 5 of the new events for June week 5, we're going to be kicked off this time by the Chimney Cup over at Sardegna Windmills Reverse. Then we head over to Special Stage Route X for the American Clubman Cup 700 before we have a brand new special event in the form of the Porsche 356 make, made very obvious by the fact both of these cars were put in the Legends dealer together over the last few days. That one is over at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Then we head over to the Porsche Cup at Lake Maggiore on the full course layout for a 5-lap race. And then to finish us off we have Circuit de St Croix for the Gr.1 Prototype series. So event number 1 this week, the Chimney Cup. This is one of the 2024 menu books, of course taking place at Sardegna Windmills Reverse, which means we're going to need a Suzuki Jimny, of course, with dirt tyres, as this is the rally race of the bunch of the Chimney Cup event. So let's get started with event number 1 for the week. Now, of course, as always, I will run these events on the hardest difficulty, and I will try my best to keep my PP limit in line with what the recommendation, or of course if it's set in stone I have no other option. Now, in terms of event number 1, I don't think I can really give you any tips here, and I don't really see anyone that's going to have any issue whatsoever getting this one done and dusted. The only thing I can advise really is don't use a standard Jimny just on dirt tyres. The AI will be much quicker than you then, especially on those harder difficulties. If you do have some upgrades on your Jimny though, you're probably going to absolutely steamroll this event. The AI, just like most dirt events and, well, of course snow events now, are extremely inconsistent and just not that quick at all. Halfway through the lap I took the lead, and of course by the end of lap 2 I was over 20 seconds ahead of the second place AI. I don't think anyone's going to have any real troubles with this one, and of course if you want to get the event done even quicker, go ahead and use the engine swap for the Jimny. That is going to be event number 1 done, and tick number 1 of the week, receiving 45,000 credits with the clean race bonus, and of course the first reward of the week, which is a 6-star roulette ticket parts ticket. So let's move on to event number 2. So event number 2 this week is the American Clubman Cup 700 over at Special Stage Route X. This is one of the day 1 events. It is super simple and straightforward. It's a 1-lap sprint around a huge massive oval, and that's it really. So aim to get a car that can exceed at least 220 miles per hour. That is of course around the recommendation of 700, but you can go over. I believe it is not set in stone for these events, so if you want to go ahead and bring a Tomahawk S or something like that, you'll be able to get this event done even quicker. My personal choice for this event though was the Chevy Corvette C1 with an engine swap from one of the more recent updates. This gave me an extremely high top speed of 230 plus miles per hour. Like I mentioned in the introduction to this event, you want to be realistically aiming for a car that can hit at least 220 just to be safe, as one of the AI driven by Fraga in the Chevy Corvette C7 is extremely quick as the race goes on. However, the rest of the AI, not too much trouble at all. Another thing to mention though, whilst this is a very easy layout, of course just being one huge oval which is around about 10 to 20 miles long, something ridiculous like that. In terms of the event itself, just be aware that the banking can really throw you off. Unfortunately, because of how low the C1 was, the bodywork and the wheel were rubbing together, which of course gets stuck and can cause you to spin out. So in all honesty, I do recommend a car that is able to tackle these huge bankings at Special Stage Route X. Again, I know it's a route that not many of us will run that often, so just be aware and keep that in mind. So my tips for this one: ensure that your car can hit over 220 miles per hour and just be aware of the bankings, and you should be able to get tick number 2 of the week done and dusted with relative ease. This being a day 1 event, relatively low paying at 22,500 credits, and of course an extra 19 miles added on to the daily marathon. So event number 3 this week is going to be the special event, a brand new one in the form of the Porsche 356 one make over at Raceway Laguna Seca. Now in terms of the event itself, it was very obvious it was going to be this by the fact that both of these cars decided to show up in the Legends dealership over the last few days. Now in terms of the event itself, it's a 4-lap sprint race with 12 vehicles on the grid. Both versions of the 356 are here to be driven, the Speedster and the hardtop version. First place is 80,000 credits, 48k and then 32k. Of course, your typical AI is going to be a mixture of hardtop and convertibles. It must be a garage car, car settings are allowed, and of course the likes of shortcuts are all turned off. So it's great to see some classic car action for this week's special event, especially with the likes of the 356 that I just don't feel gets enough love when it comes to Gran Turismo. Some of these classic cars from the sort of 50s and 60s are absolutely awesome to race around, so it's great to see a bunch of them out on track and just having a nice little classic car race. So in terms of the event itself, I don't need to give you too much in terms of, I guess, tips and tricks. There's not much I can really say. It's a sprint race, so of course we're not worrying about tyres or fuel, so we can't really beat the AI that way. In terms of upgrades, you can go down the fully upgraded route, and I would recommend actually slapping a bunch of upgrades on your chosen version of the 356. That is because of one single AI that takes part in this race. Whilst a lot of them are fairly quick overall, at least they're no slouchers, the one leading AI is extremely fast. In comparison to everything on the grid, it probably laps around about a second to 2 seconds a lap faster than anything. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So once you've moved yourself into second place, just get ready for good old cheating Gran Turismo AI time. As you can see, this thing will absolutely just go on the straights. Now there is a plus side to this. Gran Turismo's AI is fairly notorious for being absolutely terrible, and thankfully when it comes to slowing down and getting itself around the corner, the AI itself can't really handle all that power. So again, this is where you should make your leap of faith, jump down the inside and get the move done. After that, the AI does seem to drop off, as you can see on that final lap, pulling out a gap of 4 seconds. So not really too sure what happened to the AI. It's just a seeming issue where once you overtake, it's just going to back out of it. So we do get the clean race bonus, 120,000 credits for that one. And tick number 3, of course, going to reward us with 150k. So time to move on to event number 4 of the week, and this is once again going to stick with the Porsche theme we have with the Porsche Cup over at Lake Maggiore full course. Now once again, this is a day 1 event, so it's not post launch, meaning the payout is going to be relatively low in comparison to some of the post launch events. Now there is a PP limit for this one. I believe it's set around about 650, so just ensure that you've got any model of Porsche that is around about 650 PP. Now thankfully, whilst there is the whole chase the rabbit situation going on once again, the AI here are just not that strong. There's a couple of 911 GT3s that you might have to just keep an eye on further up the grid, but in reality I don't think anyone will struggle here. As long as you've got a fairly strong car, around 650 performance points, you should be able to get this one done with relative ease. However, the car up ahead here, just a word of warning, will start flying through the grid as the event goes on. So get that overtake done and dusted nice and early, and hope you can get some ground made up before that car starts charging through the pack. The rest of the AI shouldn't really give you any bother whatsoever. There's a couple of Porsche 911 GT3s up front of the 01 variety, so the 2001 model that we do have in game. Again, whilst they're kind of, closely bunched up, they shouldn't give you too much of an issue. And well, once again, we're just going to use them as a bit of a barrier to protect off from F Wolf, who is absolutely at this point starting to fly through the pack. Again, he will set some blisteringly quick lap times in that newer Porsche 911, so just be aware that he might be up the grid if you're not moving through quick enough. Overall though, don't sweat it, you should get this one done with relative ease. I managed a 14 to 15 second gap in the end, and that is going to be tick number 4 for the week. Now in terms of the payout, like mentioned, with this being a day one event, it's not too great. 105,000 credits with the clean race bonus, and of course a few extra miles added on to the driving marathon. So let's move on to the final event of the week. This is going to be the Gr.1 Prototype series at Circuit de St Croix. And well, if you thought we had cheating AI in the Porsche 356 event, this time it's even more notorious. Probably one of the hardest single events in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. So you can honestly make this event much easier just by turning the difficulty down. But if you're like me and you like a good challenge, well, you're definitely in for one. I would probably say this is the most difficult single event in all of Gran Turismo 7. It's ridiculous. And the main reason is because there's a hint of a cheating AI once again. A Wilk on this track in the Peugeot VGT is an absolute rocket ship. It's bizarre just how fast that car is in comparison to everything else. Even if you build very, very close to the 950 limit, he will absolutely drive away. And no matter what you do in terms of strategy, he's almost unbeatable. Yes, you can go deep into the race on fuel mix 6, but unfortunately with zero stop, you just won't have the pace. And in terms of pit stopping, well, he's probably just going to outrun you. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get a P1 here in this event, and I can't really give you too many tips. I've just always struggled at this event. I've always found it difficult. And once again, it's just that A Wilk AI that is just so extremely fast. Now you do want to aim at most for one single pit stop during the race. I'm sure if you use the Mazda 787B you can probably no stop it, but once again you just don't want to be fuel saving, you want to be maximum push throughout the race. And honestly, even when A Wilk does take that extra pit stop at the end of lap 7, he's probably still going to be way ahead in the distance in the end. Unfortunately, we just couldn't quite catch him. Insane straight line speed from that one, but it is still going to give us tick number 5 for the week with P2, and unfortunately only 126,000 credits. These events though are notorious for just not paying that well. However, we do get rewarded with the 6-star roulette ticket car ticket. So let's go ahead and open our rewards for this week. Up first is the daily driving marathon, which once again was a pretty disappointing 4-star roulette ticket. This time littered with engine swaps, parts and invites, and unfortunately we're going to get the weakest one of the bunch. This is going to be a part 1 of 3 that was on offer, and it's the racing crankshaft for the Mercedes AMG GT safety car. Probably not the most useful part in the world. And next up is of course just going to be the set parts ticket, the 6-star variety that we got for event number 1 of the week being completed. As you can see, plenty of different parts on offer, and we're going to end up with a bought up S. This time though, it's not going to be for a safety car, it's going to be for the Mazda 3 from 2019, so in reality just as disappointing. Up next though is going to be the credit rewards. This one isn't too bad, 150,000 credits just for completing 3 of the weekly events, and of course onto the main one of the week, the 6-star roulette ticket car ticket, the best reward that can be offered in the Gran Turismo weekly events. Now fortunately there was just all VGTs for me this week apart from one of the Formula 1 cars, and probably going to get the weakest one of the bunch. Although it's extremely fast, it's an EV and fairly boring unfortunately, the Porsche VGT. Again, not too good, but still it's a free car worth 1,000,000 credits, so I can't complain too much. Don't forget to let me know what you guys got on the roulette tickets this week down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, have a fantastic rest of your day wherever you may be. Take care guys, peace.